Hello, class. Today we're going to talk about the word family KN. Now, KN is a combination of letters that we find often at the beginning of words. We call this combination silent beginnings. Now, there are a couple different combinations that do the same thing, such as WR or GN, but today we're going to focus on KN. Now, we call these silent beginnings because they're groups of letters at the beginning of words that we don't pronounce. Like in write, for instance, to write something out. It sounds like you might would spell that maybe RITE or RIGHT, but it's actually spelled WRITE. Now, the letter family of KN has a few different words that act this way. Let's look at a couple of those. What we see here is a couple of different words that belong to the KN word family. So another thing that we want to make sure, as we're going to do our activity today, that we really focus on is our ability to predict, okay? Now, what predicting is this the ability to go through as you're reading a story and thinking about the things that have already happened and looking at all the clues that you currently have and thinking to yourself, what could happen next? Now, we use this when we're looking at words with silent beginnings. We just looked over a flashcard that had the different words that began with KN, such as night, knee, knob, need. And we knew that the last word, if we already pronounced need, but we didn't say that K, when we got to night afterwards, we could kind of say, well, based on that, I can kind of predict or I can build on what I already know that I probably don't need to pronounce that K. We're going to use that same type of mentality when we read our story. Now, this story is going to be about a little boy named Jack and his little sister, Annie. Now, they have the ability to go through, they have found this magic tree house. And when they go to this tree house is filled with books, books all over the floor. And they pick up a book and they read the story. And what we want to go over is we're going to read just this little section down here. We're going to read this page right here, beginning at leaving again. And just for time's sake, we're going to read it down to across the bridge. Now, what I want our class to do is we're going to break up into groups of 4. And I want you to take turns rotating your reading. I want you to read a few sentences, read, say, 4 or 5 sentences, and then rotate the next. The person to the left of you will read 3 or 4 or 5 sentences and then rotate again. And if you are listening and somebody who's in your group has maybe a difficult time hearing what's going on, feel free to help them out if need be. I'm also going to be walking around. I'm going to listen to you guys read, and I'm just going to kind of see if you have any questions, and I'll be there to answer your questions. So go ahead and get into your teams and read your stories. Okay. So we got the reading story. Did you enjoy the story? Was it kind of fun? I know we didn't have time to read the whole story. Maybe we can talk about and read that story, the whole thing later. But I wanted you guys to read some of the very important parts of the story that I thought were really, really cool and kind of had some interesting things happen in it. So what did you happen to notice about the story? So you got to the part, what you read was when they found this book